think I invested in, it ended up being about 48 coins based on the system. Yeah, and I mean, it's growing at a phenomenal rate. I mean, my portfolio at the moment is sitting at 1,026% for a investment that was started late 2019. So, I mean, it's not even 18 months and it's basically 10x. My top 3 coins, they're all in excess of 3,500%. So they're doing really well. But to be honest, out of my 46 position, 25 of those are above 100%. Without the guidance of this system and knowing how to go about investing in the coins and how to use a unilateral approach to diversify your risk, and all of the learnings that you offered really help to flatten the learning curve, and also to settle some of the fears and the concerns around investing in cryptocurrencies. Because as we know, of course it can go up very high, but similarly it can drop very quickly. So having this information has been invaluable. Like their jaws just fall to the ground. I mean, how is that possible? That type of growth is so far beyond what they think is the norm. When, I mean, they're not even in, maybe they're playing in single or double-digit growth. We're talking about 4-digit growth here. And, it's the type of growth that you can do without the need of an intermediary. So you can do this yourself. So, yeah, it definitely makes for interesting conversation. If we were to look at, I mean, even just what happened last year, the psychological indicator when COVID hit, I mean, that indicator nearly went up to 100% as we saw all of the markets collapse, which was a strong signal to tell you, okay, well, I mean, if we're following the premise where we buy when everyone else is selling and we sell when everyone else is buying, that indicator was, was absolutely spot on. Yeah, so whilst in the beginning I was very unsure and there was a lot of fear. Of course, I mean, the general or the media in itself, they would spread a lot of fear around cryptocurrencies too. So you didn't really know who to trust. So having an authoritative figure that you look up to, you say, okay, well, if I follow the system, if I follow this blueprint, then I can get to this result. And in fact, that's exactly what has happened. So very grateful from that perspective. And in terms of how I feel now, it's like, I really wish I got into it earlier. I mean, just with the profit that I've made to date, it's very reasonable. It's very, very reasonable to think that you can acquire a program like, I mean, where else in the world are you going to acquire a program where you pay maybe, 20,000 Rand and then you're able to make hundreds of thousands of Rand? Anyone that's considering following Dreyer Crypto Strategy, I mean, if you're on the fence and if you're sitting with an Excel workbook and you're trying to work out the sums to see if this is something that you can actually make happen, again, I would just say start doing the numbers, buy the program, and start right away. I mean, as we're seeing inside of the crypto space now, I mean, there is still a lot of volatility, but this is not something that's going to last forever. I mean, as the bigger players start to, or more big players start to enter the scene, that volatility is going to decrease, or it's going to stabilize, which means that the possible returns on a currency like Bitcoin, it's going to lessen over time. But we are very much still in the beginning stages. if we were to think of the amount of money flowing in and what's the amount of money in the other financial systems. So yeah, I mean, I definitely would recommend this to anyone that is interested in building a nest egg for them. Highly recommend that. Thank you for opening my world to this, because over and above the possible gains that we can make from investing in cryptocurrencies, I mean, there's also the prospect of the positive change that blockchain technologies can bring to our world. What really appeals to me is the fact that it can really serve to bring the power back to the people, to take it from out of the hands of the few and into the people. And I mean, that type of autonomy and power, really, it's I think our world needs it.